Mama Blessing wasn't always successful. In fact, 3 years ago, she was the poorest Zobo seller in Oshodi Market, that sprawling, chaotic maze of commerce where thousands fought daily for survival. Every morning, she would wake at 4 a.m. in her cramped one-room apartment in Mushin, boil her hibiscus leaves, add ginger and pineapple, strain the liquid, and pour it into her large cooler. By 6 a.m., she would be at her small wooden table in the market, her red drink gleaming in plastic cups, hoping, praying that someone would buy. But they rarely did. "Your Zobo is too watery," customers would complain. "Mama Ejiro's Zobo is sweeter," they would say, walking past her to buy from her competitor 3 stalls away. Mama Ejiro. That woman had everything Mama Blessing wanted. Customers lined up 20 deep for her Zobo. She wore expensive Ankara dresses and gold jewelry. Her daughter was in a private secondary school. She had built a proper house in her village. Meanwhile, Mama Blessing could barely afford school fees for her only son, Chidi. The boy was brilliant, the smartest in his class, but the school had sent 3 warning letters: pay up or he would be expelled. One evening, after selling only 5 cups the entire day, Mama Blessing sat on her wooden bench and wept. The sunset painted the Lagos sky in shades of orange and purple, but she saw only darkness. "God, why?" she whispered into her palms. "I work hard. I'm honest. Why am I cursed with failure while that woman prospers?" "Because you haven't paid the price for success." Mama Blessing's head snapped up. Standing before her was an old woman she had never seen before. Strange, because in 3 years she had seen every face in this market. The woman wore a tattered black wrapper and carried a walking stick carved with symbols that seemed to writhe in the fading light. Her eyes were clouded white, yet somehow Mama Blessing felt they could see everything. Who are you?" Mama Blessing stammered. "Someone who can help you for a price." The old woman sat down without invitation. Her presence made the air feel heavier, as if invisible weights had been placed on Mama Blessing's shoulders. "You want success, like Mama Ejiro, yes? Customers who will fight to drink your Zobo? Money that flows like water? A better life for your son? Of course, but I can give you this. Tonight, you will prepare your Zobo as usual, but you will add something extra." The old woman pulled out a small clay bottle, no bigger than a thumb, sealed with black wax. 3 drops, no more, no less. In 3 days, you will be the most successful Zobo seller in all of Lagos. Mama Blessing stared at the bottle. Something about it made her skin crawl. What is in it? Power, magic, the essence of desire. Does it matter? You want success, I offer success. But what must I pay?" The old woman smiled, revealing teeth too white, too sharp. "Oh, the payment is simple. Every full moon, you will give me a cup of your blood. Just 1 cup. Your body makes plenty more. You'll hardly notice it's gone." "My blood?" Mama Blessing's voice shook. That's witchcraft. That's evil." "Evil?" The old woman laughed, a sound like breaking bones. "Is it evil to feed your son, to send him to university, to lift yourself from this poverty that crushes you slowly every day? I offer you a choice, not a curse. Take it or leave it. But know this, opportunity knocks only once." She placed the bottle on the table and stood up. "You have until midnight to decide. If you want it, add 3 drops to tomorrow's Zobo. If not, throw it in the lagoon and continue your suffering. The choice, Mama Blessing, is yours alone." And then she was gone, dissolving into the evening crowd as if she had never been there at all. That night, Mama Blessing sat in her room, the clay bottle burning like hot coal in her palm. Beside her, Chidi slept on their shared mattress, his school uniform washed so many times it was fading, hanging on a nail in the wall. She thought of the expulsion letter. She thought of the landlord's threats. She thought of her son's brilliant mind being wasted because she couldn't afford to nurture it. Just 1 cup of blood. Every full moon. That's not too much, is it? At 11:47 p.m., she broke the seal. The change was immediate and terrifying in its power. The next day, Mama Blessing prepared her Zobo as always, but added 3 drops from the bottle. The liquid shimmered for a moment, turned a deeper, richer red, almost like blood itself, and then settled back to normal. But when she opened for business, something was different. The first customer, a young man in an agbada, stopped mid-stride, his nose twitching. "Madam, what is that smell? Your Zobo, it smells like heaven." He bought a cup, then another, then 5 more for his friends. Within an hour, a crowd had gathered, people who had never bought from her before, people who had walked past her stall for years without a glance, now pushed and shoved to reach her table.
"This is the best Zobo I've ever tasted. It's like, I can't explain it. I need more. Forget Mama Ejiro. This is the real thing." By noon, Mama Blessing had sold out completely. By the end of the week, she had tripled her prices and still couldn't keep up with demand. By the end of the month, she had hired 3 assistants and rented a larger space. Mama Ejiro watched with poisonous jealousy as her own customers abandoned her, drawn like moths to Mama Blessing's stall. 3 months later, Mama Blessing had paid Chidi's school fees for the entire year. 6 months later, she had bought a small generator and a new fridge. 1 year later, she had opened a second location in Ikeja. The blood donations on every full moon were unpleasant. The old woman would appear in her room at midnight, moving with supernatural silence, and draw exactly 1 cup with a syringe that never seemed to hurt, but always left Mama Blessing feeling weak and cold for days afterward. But the success made it worth it. Didn't it? It started small. Things Mama Blessing told herself were coincidences. A customer collapsed at her stall, clutching his chest. Heart attack, the doctor said. He had been perfectly healthy that morning. A young woman who bought Zobo every day began having terrible nightmares, visions of drowning in red liquid, unable to breathe, unable to scream. A child who drank from her cup developed a strange fever. The doctors couldn't identify it. They called it unusual blood poisoning. Then Chidi started getting sick. It began with tiredness. Her brilliant boy, who used to stay up late reading by candlelight, now fell asleep at his desk. His teachers complained he couldn't concentrate. His grades, once perfect, began to slip. "Mama, I feel so weak," he would say, his young face pale and drawn. "Like something is draining me from inside." Mama took him to every hospital in Lagos. They ran test after test. His blood counts were dropping mysteriously. His organs were slowly failing, but no doctor could explain why. It was only when she looked in the mirror one night, really looked, that she saw it. Her son had her eyes, her nose, her blood, and the Zobo was made with her blood. Blood that now flowed through hundreds, maybe thousands of people across Lagos. Blood that carried some dark curse, some terrible magic. The realization hit her like a bus. The old woman had never said the blood was just for her. The blood went into the Zobo, and the Zobo went into everyone who drank it, including, she remembered with horror, Chidi. He had drunk her Zobo dozens of times, proud of his mother's success. She was poisoning her own son. That night she waited. At midnight, the old woman appeared as always, syringe in hand. "No more," Mama Blessing said, her voice shaking but firm. "I want out. I won't give you my blood anymore." The old woman's white eyes seemed to glow in the darkness. "Oh, having regrets, are we? But my dear, we had an agreement. Success for blood. You got your success. The blood is mine. My son is dying." "Many are dying. That's not my concern. You chose this path. You walked it willingly. Every drop of blood you gave made your Zobo irresistible because I mixed it with desire itself. Addictive, consuming desire. People don't just want your Zobo, they need it like a drug, and like all drugs, it has consequences." "What have I done?" Mama Blessing collapsed to her knees, tears streaming. "What have I done to these people, to my son?" "What all desperate people do. You made a choice, and choices, my dear, have prices." Mama Blessing didn't sleep. She couldn't. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Chidi's pale face, saw her customers clutching their chests, saw rivers of red Zobo flowing through Lagos like blood through veins. At dawn, she went to the one person she had been too proud to approach before, Mama Ejiro. The old woman opened her door with suspicion, hardening her face. "What do you want? Come to gloat about stealing my customers?" "Please." Mama Blessing fell to her knees on the doorstep, not caring who saw. "I need help. I've done something terrible, something evil, and I don't know how to stop it." Something in her voice, raw terror, genuine remorse, made Mama Ejiro's expression soften. She pulled Mama Blessing inside. When the story was finished, Mama Ejiro sat in silence for a long time. Finally, she spoke. "My grandmother was a herbalist. She taught me about the old ways, both the light and the dark. What you describe, this is blood magic. Very powerful, very dangerous. The only way to break it is to destroy the source and make restitution." "How?" "You must find that bottle, the original one, destroy it completely. Then you must confess publicly. Tell everyone what you've done. The truth has power to break curses, but only if spoken without holding back. And finally," she paused, "you must give up everything you gained from this evil. Every naira, every possession. Only then will the curse begin to lift." "Everything? But Chidi's school fees." "Your son is dying because of that blood money. Do you want to save him or keep your wealth?" The choice was obvious. It wasn't a choice at all. The next day, Mama Blessing went to her room and searched everywhere for the clay bottle. She finally found it hidden behind a loose board in the wall, and when she touched it, she felt how cold it was and how it seemed to pulse like a living heart. She took it to Oshodi Market at the busiest hour, noon, when the sun blazed overhead and thousands of people swarmed the stalls. She climbed onto her own table, the ones where she had sold so much cursed Zobo, and she began to speak. Her voice was small at first, but she forced it louder. "Please, everyone, I need to tell you something." The crowd quieted. Curious, they recognized her. Mama Blessing, the Zobo woman, the success story. "For 2 years, I have been selling Zobo to you. You loved it. You told me it was the best you'd ever tasted. You are right because I put something in it, something evil." Murmurs rippled through the crowd like wind through grass. "I made a deal with a witch. She gave me a potion made with dark magic, mixed with my own blood.
It made you addicted to my drink. It made you sick. Some of you have died because of what I did." The mamas turned to gasps, then to angry shouts. I was desperate. I was poor. I wanted to give my son a better life, but I was wrong. I poisoned you. I poisoned my own son. And now I'm here to confess and to ask, to beg for your forgiveness." She held up the clay bottle. "This is the source. I'm going to destroy it now." She smashed it against the concrete ground. The bottle shattered, and a thick black smoke poured out, swirling upward and forming, for just a moment, the shape of the old woman's face, twisted in rage. Then it dissipated into the hot Lagos air with a sound like 1,000 screaming voices cut short. Mama Blessing collapsed, blood pouring from her nose and ears. The crowd surged forward, some to help, some to attack, some just to see. But then something strange happened. All across Lagos, people who were sick from the Zobo suddenly felt the illness lift like a heavy blanket being pulled away. Fevers broke, nightmares stopped, and Chidi, lying in his bed in Mushin, opened his eyes for the first time in days and said, "Mama, the curse was broken." Mama Blessing lost everything. The police arrested her briefly, though they ultimately couldn't figure out what law she had technically broken. Her business collapsed. People feared and hated her. She had to move to a different part of Lagos where no one knew her face. She went back to selling Zobo, honest Zobo now, with no magic. But her customers were few and dying. She lived in a single room again, struggling as before. But Chidi recovered completely. He went back to school, his brilliant mind intact, and when he looked at his mother, he didn't see shame. He saw a woman who had made a terrible mistake and had found the courage to make it right.
One evening, as Mama Blessing packed up her stall after another slow day, a customer approached. She looked up, ready for more accusations, more hatred. But the woman smiled. "I'll have a cup of Zobo, please." You know who I am?" "Yes, I know what you did. I also know you confessed. You gave up everything to break the curse. That takes courage." She took a sip and nodded. "It's good. Not magical, just good. That's all it needs to be." As she walked away, Mama Blessing felt something she hadn't felt in 2 years. Peace. Because she had learned the hardest lesson of all. True success isn't what you gain through shortcuts and dark magic. True success is what you build with honesty, even when it's slow, even when it's hard, even when it costs you everything. The spirits test us with desperation. They offer us power when we're at our weakest. But the price is always higher than they tell you. Thanks for watching. If you have thoughts, drop them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon for more stories. Bye!